How's it going, everyone? Welcome to another episode of What's Up With. My name is Andrew Cogswell, and on this show we talk about the history, lore, and much more of all your favorite pop culture topics. The Marvel Cinematic Universe has taken us on some pretty incredible adventures the last 8 years. We've seen the Avengers save New York and the world multiple times. We've seen the Guardians save Xander and take down Ronan. And we've seen Doctor Strange travel across dimensions and defeat Dormammu. It's been incredible. But the thing about these movies is there's 14 of them, and sometimes it kind of gets a little difficult to keep track of what's going on and who's where and who's doing what, because even though it sometimes seems like these movies are coming out back to back to back, they're not, and there's some gaps in between seeing characters, and it can make it a little bit difficult. So on this episode of What's Up With, we're going to go over the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We're going to go cover the Avengers, we're going to cover Guardians of the Galaxy, we're going to cover Doctor Strange, we're going to talk about future movies, we're going to do everything. I know this is the second Marvel video in a row. Don't worry, it's not going to always be Marvel, it's just that's what's topical right now. So before we start, I want to kind of explain the organization I've got for this video. I wanted to make it so those of you who want to watch the whole thing totally can, and I encourage you to watch the whole thing. So yeah, that would make it really easy for you guys to just watch it from the start to finish. You guys know how to watch a YouTube video. For those of you who want to watch section by section, I've divided it up into sections so you can kind of jump around. So there'll be a list over here and some nice little links to jump you to those different time points. So we're gonna start out with Team Iron Man. So that's everyone in Civil War who's on Team Iron Man. We've got Team Captain America. Everyone in Civil War who's on Team Captain America. Thor and Hulk, since they weren't involved in Civil War. And then we've got extra characters. So we got Doctor Strange and Captain Marvel. And finally, we've got the Guardians of the Galaxy. And then we're going to be finished with characters. That's pretty much all of them. And then we're going to go on to where are the Infinity Stones right now. That's going to include the Eye of Agamotto from Doctor Strange. Now, just a little warning that some of these characters, like, for example, the Vision and Hawkeye, we're not going to have as much information on just because they're more secondary characters, especially compared to Cap and Iron Man. So, sorry if those are your favorite characters. There's just not a whole lot to go off with them sometimes. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. So, starting off with Team Iron Man, let's start off with the Tin Man himself, Tony Stark. We end Civil War with Tony back at the Avengers compound, trying to rebuild and keep the team together. They're fractured after the Avengers Civil War. Understandably, it was a civil war. That tends to happen. It's going okay from the looks of it. The next time we'll see Tony Stark is actually not in an Avengers movie or an Iron Man movie, which is weird. We will see him in Spider-Man Homecoming next summer, which we will also talk about a little bit later when we talk about Spider-Man. Next up is Black Widow, whose allegiance is a little weird at the end of Civil War because she kind of helped Bucky and Cap escape the airport at the end, so whoops. But she was Team Iron Man most of the time, so we're just going to keep her in that category just to make things simple. Now, we don't actually see Black Widow at the end of the airport scene. We don't see her on camera at all. So we do hear her talk on a speakerphone to Tony Stark when he's in the compound at the end of the movie, letting him know that General Ross is on the phone. So she is either gotten to the point where they don't know that she betrayed them, or they have forgiven her and she's still willing to work with them. Either way, she is still part of the Avengers from the looks of it. So yeah, she's there. Now, Vision is one of those characters where we don't really know what's going on with him. He doesn't have a whole lot going on. Civil War, at the end of it, he's just kind of moping at the Avengers compound, playing with the chess piece, looking all sad on the couch. So he's still part of the Avengers, even if his lover, Scarlet Witch, is not. And finally, for the kind of core Avengers of Team Iron Man, we have War Machine. He is recuperating after an incident with the Vision. At the end of the airport scene, Vision shoots off a little mind beam from his mind noggin and accidentally hits War Machine and sends him plummeting to the ground, and on impact, it paralyzes him from the waist down. So Tony Stark is helping him with the help of some exoskeleton legs that I'm sure Tony designed to help Rhodey walk again, and it seems to be going well, which is awesome for Rhodey. And I would assume, too, that being in the War Machine suit will help him stand upright as well. But, yeah. So, good news for Rhodey. Now, all these Avengers will be back for Avengers Infinity War in 2018, so we will see them soon. Tony Stark will see them a little bit sooner. But we're going to now go on to the not really Avengers part of Team Iron Man, which is namely Spider-Man and Black Panther. In one of the post-credit scenes for Civil War, we see Peter Parker sitting back at his house with Aunt May, and he gets some sort of weird message web slinger thing from Tony Stark, which teases that, yeah, Tony will be back for Spider-Man. The info was actually released right before right before Civil War came out, so we knew that going into it for those people that were paying attention. This makes sense. Tony Stark approaches Spider-Man in Civil War as kind of wanting to be a mentor, so it would make sense that he'd want to keep track of Underoos. So Spider-Man will next see him in Spider-Man Homecoming next summer. He will not be in Avengers Infinity War. Not really sure why, but hey, whatever. We get a Spider-Man movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I will take that. Also exciting about Marvel's Spider-Man Homecoming is that Michael Keaton recently was confirmed to be playing the Vulture. This is exciting because this is the first time we have seen the Vulture in live action. So if you want more info on the Vulture, look it up. He's pretty cool. So Black Panther is kind of like Black Widow, where he started out on Team Iron Man and kind of swapped over to Team Cap at the end of it, especially with that post-credit scene that we'll talk about in a little bit. But once again, was on Team Iron Man for most of the movie, so we're just going to keep him there for simplicity's sake. So we last saw Black Panther and the post-credit scene in Wakanda, which is his country. He is helping Cap and Bucky unscramble Bucky's scrambled brains. They're going to put him in cryosleep. We're going to touch on that a little bit more in a little bit. Now, unfortunately, Black Panther fans are going to have to wait a little bit longer than Spider-Man fans to see Black Panther's solo movie, since it doesn't come out till 2018. It seems a long way off, but luckily we've got other Marvel movies to supplement us on our way to Black Panther. The good news about Black Panther, though, is it looks like it's going to have a star-studded cast. We've got Lupita Nyong'o, we've got Michael B. Jordan, and we got Martin Freeman coming back and reprising his role from Civil War. So it looks like it's going to be big and awesome. The cool thing about the Black Panther movie, along with the cast, though, is we will be seeing Wakanda in its glory. Presumably. I mean, it's his home country, it's his capital. I mean, we're probably going to see a lot of it. And this will be cool because Wakanda is normally an isolated nation, and it's very technologically advanced, so we haven't really seen a city like this in the Marvel Universe yet. So, we'll see how it interacts, and we'll see how Black Panther T'Challa makes his transition from prince to king of this crazy, awesome nation. And we'll talk a little bit more about Wakanda a little bit later when Cap's section. Just a touch. That wraps up Team Iron Man. Let's move on to Team Captain America. Now, I warned a little bit earlier that some of these characters aren't going to have as much going on, and that's especially true for most of the people in Team Cap. Really, Captain America and Bucky, who's not really on the team, they really have the most going on. Everybody else is just really side at the end of it. We'll talk about that after we talk about Star-Spangled Hero, Captain America. Now, Cap probably has the busiest last 15 minutes or so of Civil War and the post-credit scene. Now, the last scene we see Cap in is he is busting his team out of the raft, the prison that they're all held in for being anti-registration. So he's busting out Falcon, Ant-Man, Hawkeye, and Scarlet Witch, and he's getting them out of there. Now, presumably, they are all now on the run at the beginning of Infinity War, unless something happens off-screen in between the two movies. But it's going to be an interesting dynamic to see them come in and fight with the pro-registration Avengers to Team Iron Man at the beginning of Infinity War, or whenever they do show up in Infinity War, because there's going to be some hostility there. That being said, though, while this whole busting out of the raft thing is happening, Captain's got a voiceover telling Tony that, you know, if you ever need me, I'll be there. So there is a little bit of reconciliation going on Cap's side. Now, the interesting speculation here about what's going on with Team Cap in between Civil War and Infinity War is there's a lot of wars going on, first of all. But where are Team Captain America? Like, where are they hiding? Hawkeye could be on his farm, but not likely, since Tony knows where that is thanks to the events of Age of Ultron. And everybody else, I don't really know if they have a home to go to, especially Scarlet Witch doesn't, because Sokovia got destroyed. Where are they? They could all be in Wakanda with Black Panther and Cap, but that makes Wakanda kind of busy and crowded, especially with Black Panther, the movie, coming, assumingly taking place in Wakanda. So it'll be interesting to see where they've been this whole time. But Cap is in Wakanda with Bucky, trying to fix Bucky. He's about ready to throw him in the icebox to let him sleep for a while until him and Black Panther can figure out what is going on with his brainwashing. Will they solve it before Infinity War? Who knows? I doubt that the Black Panther movie is going to focus on it, so really the next time we might get an update is maybe a post-credit scene or Infinity War itself. Unfortunately, that kind of wraps it up for Team Captain America. Like I said, there's not a whole lot going on with his characters. Aside from Cap and Bucky, they're kind of just there. Though, however, we do have confirmation that Ant-Man will be in his own next solo movie sequel, Ant-Man and the Wasp, in 2018. So look forward to that. That's probably the next time you're going to see him. Now, there are two other Avengers that we've missed so far, and that's because they're not actually in Civil War. They abandoned us and the Marvel Universe to go do whatever it is they're doing, and I'm talking about Thor and the Hulk. Now, to be fair, both these people probably shouldn't have been in Civil War, because whoever had them on their team would probably end up winning just because of the sheer strength of the two of them. And also, all things considered, Thor especially has a lot bigger fish to fry when dealing with Asgard and Loki. So the last time we saw Thor was in Age of Ultron, where he went on this weird vision quest strictly for the point of exposition. That's really the only reason he did it, and the only reason he was in the movie. He learned about the Infinity Stones, which he told the Avengers about, and they know they're a problem. They don't know how big of a problem because they don't know about Thanos, but they know there's something up. Also on this weird vision quest, Thor gets a vision of Heimdall telling him, you're going to bring hell to Asgard, and not our version of hell, but this weird Asgardian Nine Realms version of hell. Also, along with all that, Thor's got Loki to deal with, who's been assuming the role of Odin since Thor the Dark World forever ago. We don't know if Thor knows about this deception yet, but he's probably going to find out pretty soon. Speaking of which, Thor's next appearance is confirmed to be next November, where it has been confirmed that the Hulk, who we'll talk about in just a little bit, will be teaming up with the God of Thunder and presumably Doctor Strange after that post-credits scene to do whatever it is they're going to do. It's been described by the director as a road-tripping buddy cop film, at least between Thor and the Hulk. But that also brings up the question of what is going on in that post-credit scene for Doctor Strange. Thor shows up in Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum and says, "Hey, I'm with Loki. We're looking for Odin." But Loki's Odin right now. So what's going on there? Strange said he'll help though, so he's going to be in the movie. We'll see how it all plays out next November in Thor Ragnarok. So like Thor, the Hulk has been MIA since the end of Age of Ultron, where he managed to fit his giant green body into the cockpit of a fighter jet. I don't know how that worked. But anyway, the Hulk blasts off into God knows where, the wild blue yonder, I guess, and just cruises along. Eventually he'll get picked up by Thor and they'll go do Ragnarok stuff in Ragnarok next year. So we've got Thor and the Hulk working together to find Odin with Loki, and Doctor Strange is tied in, and this begs the question, does Thor Ragnarok take place during the events of Civil War? Could they be off doing things? Because the timeline is very weird right now. Doctor Strange does not take place after Captain America Civil War. Civil War has not happened when Doctor Strange takes place. So the timeline's weird and not super clear right now. So maybe that's why they weren't in Civil War. They were busy chasing down Odin, who has been dead for a very long time at this point. All right, that's all the Avengers and all their different affiliations and teams and whatnot, and those who abandon us. Thanks, Thor and Hulk. Since we're talking about Doctor Strange, though, let's just keep it rolling and go on with him and one other character. Now, just a little shameless plug. A few weeks ago, I did one of these videos, the very first What's Up With, on Doctor Strange. So if you want to learn more about his comic adventures, go check that out. It's going to be linked here. By now, you've probably seen Doctor Strange. It's been out for a little over a week, and you probably loved it just as much as the rest of the world did. Well, the end of the credits said that Doctor Strange will return, and that's totally true, because I've already talked about Thor Ragnarok and him probably showing up. At this point, it's all but confirmed, but it is confirmed that he will be in Avengers Infinity War in 2018. Now, this makes sense for Infinity War, since Stephen Strange does have one of the Infinity Stones in the Eye of Agamotto. He has the Time Stone, so yeah, he's got to show up, or at least references him have to show up in Infinity War, so no one's really surprised that he's going to be there. The big question is, will he already be the Sorcerer Supreme, or will he still be in training? At the end of Doctor Strange with the death of the Ancient One, the title of Sorcerer Supreme is kind of up in the air. Doctor Strange still seems like he's kind of doing some training. He doesn't seem nearly competent enough to take on the role of Sorcerer Supreme. By the time Avengers Infinity War starts, maybe he'll have enough training after hanging out with Thor, and he'll be able to call himself that. Who knows? We'll just have to see. There's also the possibility that they never even address who the new Sorcerer Supreme is, and they just kind of assume everybody assumes that he is the Sorcerer Supreme. That's a lot of assuming. I do hope that they give him the title, though, because that means even crazier spells, which means even crazier special effects, and not that movie needed any more, but I would love some. And finally, our last Earthbound hero, sort of. Captain Marvel will be appearing in her own movie in 2019, and that will presumably be one of her first times appearing on screen. She was originally supposed to debut all the way back in Age of Ultron, but got cut at the last minute, and there's a good chance she will show up in Infinity War, which comes out right before her solo movie, so that might be our first introduction to the character. We do have casting for Captain Marvel, though, as a few months ago, Brie Larson was cast as the Air Force pilot turned superhero, Captain Marvel, and it will be the first female-led superhero movie for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because for some reason they still haven't made a Black Widow movie. Alright, that is officially all of the Earth heroes. Time to move on to everybody's favorite band of misfits, the Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, we haven't seen Star-Lord, Gamora, Groot, Rocket, or Drax in quite some time, but good news, Guardians fans, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is the next Marvel movie to come out, and that is only a few months away, in May. That's right, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 will be bringing back the 5 Guardians we know and love, along with Yondu, who's grown a sweet head fin that I'm in love with, and apparently joined the Guardians, and also Nebula, who has not joined the Guardians, just to be clear. Last time we'd seen the Guardians, they defeated Ronan in a sweet dance-off on the planet of Xander. They'd taken the power orb from it and given it to the Nova Corps to protect from Thanos, because they know he's coming. We also have Rocket trying to commit as many crimes as possible, but Star-Lord, being in charge of him, says, no, please don't do that, and Rocket might comply. Groot is also working on growing from a tiny twig into an actual plan again. He sacrificed himself at the end of the first Guardians to save the rest of the team, and all that was left of him was a tiny shard, so Rocket put him in a pot and let him grow. He is going to be in the movie as kind of an adolescent, as described by director James Gunn, and he can be seen in the first trailer. Despite Guardians of the Galaxy being the next movie, we don't know a whole lot about the plot of the movie yet. We do have a few important casting announcements though, which is really exciting. First up, and probably the most important one, is the casting of Kurt Russell as Ego the Living Planet. Yeah, the Living Planet, the planet that can talk and has a face and stuff, is being played by Kurt Russell. And he can also be a human. He has a human form sometimes. And he's also Star-Lord's dad. So if you didn't think the Guardians could get even weirder, Star-Lord's dad's a planet. What? That's right, it's already been confirmed who Star-Lord's dad is. Director James Gunn kind of implied that it wasn't that big of a deal, and people were gonna find out anyway. It's not the main focus of the film. So, there you go, mystery solved. Alright, 2 other casting announcements for Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Pom Klementieff will be playing the role of superhero Mantis, and Nathan Fillion will be playing Wonder Man. So people have been clamoring for Nathan Fillion to join the MCU. You're finally getting your wish. He will be Wonder Man in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. So that's really all the confirmed stuff for Guardians of the Galaxy 2. There's a lot of rumors floating around because it is so highly anticipated. So if you want to go check those out, go for it. Take everything with a grain of salt though. Alright, one last thing before I go. You can't really do a recap of the Marvel Cinematic Universe so far without mentioning the Infinity Stones, probably the most important thing to connect all the movies other than the characters themselves. So here's a super quick rundown of where all the stones are. The Space Stone, aka Tesseract, is in Asgard in the Vault of Odin. The Mind Stone, aka Vision's sweet headpiece, is in Vision's skull. The Reality Stone, aka the Ether, was in the Collector's Vault, but that blew up in Guardians of the Galaxy, so it could have escaped, or it may be there still. The Power Stone, also known as the Orb, is with the Nova Corps to keep safe from Thanos. The Time Stone, aka the Eye of Agamotto, is in Camartage after events of Doctor Strange. And finally, the Soul Stone is MIA. We don't know where it is, but it has to show up sometime before Infinity War, or it could show up in Infinity War because Thanos is going to need it to complete his Infinity Gauntlet. So they said it hasn't been revealed yet. We haven't seen it, so it's not like Loki's scepter. So it's going to be new. It's somewhere. We'll find out. All right, that's it. That's 14 movies summed up in however long this video was. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, I promise the next one won't be Marvel-based, so stay tuned for that. Go fund us on GoFundMe so we can get better equipment. GoFundMe.com/FundSubtrendy. There's a lot of really cool perks and incentives there for giving us some money. You can donate as little as you want. You can donate $1. Every little bit helps, and we thank all of you who have donated so far. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter. And as always, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for our next video. We'll see you next time.